So today we're diving into two incredibly powerful childhood memories. They come from completely different parts of the world, one from a Native American woman back in the 19th century, and the other from a modern-day Dalit writer in India. But what's fascinating is how both stories capture that exact moment they first collided with a world that was, well, hostile. And trust me, these stories are unforgettable. So let's meet our two protagonists. First, you have Zitkala-Sa, a young Native American girl who's been sent to a government boarding school, one specifically designed to strip away her culture. And then we have Bama, a cheerful young Tamil girl from the Dalit community, just enjoying her walk home from school. I mean, you couldn't imagine two more different childhoods, right? But as we'll see, they're about to share a profound, life-altering experience. And really, that's what this is all about. What happens in that moment? That first shocking realization that the world sees you as less, simply because of who you are. So let's dive in and see how this played out for these two young girls. You see, both stories really kick off with a single, painful discovery, a moment where their innocent view of the world is just completely shattered by the harsh reality of prejudice. Okay, so for Zitkala-Sa, just picture this. Her first day at the Carlisle Indian School is a total assault on her senses. Everything is loud, cold, and just wrong. There's this harsh, metallic bell, the clatter of shoes on the floor, something she's not used to, and a sea of unfamiliar voices. The entire environment is designed to make her feel small and out of place. Bama's world, on the other hand, is a complete feast for the senses. Her walk home from school isn't a chore. It's this amazing 30-minute adventure. She's watching performing monkeys, snake charmers, people selling all kinds of snacks. It's just this vibrant theater of everyday life. Her world is bursting with color and community. It's in that cold, institutional world that Zitkala-Sa gets this terrible warning from her friend Judawin. She overheard one of the white supervisors, the pale-faced woman, talking about cutting off all the girls' long, beautiful hair. And you have to understand, this isn't just a haircut. For Zitkala-Sa, this is a direct threat to her very identity. Bama's moment of discovery is, well, it starts out as something she finds incredibly funny. She sees an elder from her community carrying a small packet of food for a landlord. But he's holding it so strangely, just by the string, making sure the packet doesn't touch his hand. She thinks it's the most comical thing she's ever seen, and she just wants to burst out laughing. So here's the crucial point, and this is so important to understand. These weren't just random acts. The cutting of hair and the way that food packet was carried, they were absolutely loaded with deep, humiliating meaning that these two young girls were just about to discover. Let's just unpack this for a second, because the symbolism here is wow. For Zitkala-Sa's people, her mother had taught her that short hair was for mourners, and shingled hair, really short hair, was for cowards captured in battle. So cutting her hair was basically branding her as weak and defeated. And for Bama, that little packet held by a string, that symbolized the whole idea of pollution, the belief that a single touch from someone of her caste could somehow defile the upper caste landlord. What Zitkala-Sa was up against has a name. It's called forced assimilation. The entire reason the Carlisle Indian School even existed was to strip Native American children of everything that made them who they were, their language, their clothes, their beliefs, and force them to become like the dominant white culture. And what Bama witnessed, that was untouchability, a brutal practice rooted in the caste system. It's a system that literally dehumanizes an entire community by labeling them as inherently impure, so much so that even their touch is considered a contamination. It's just awful. Okay, so that moment of discovery is one thing, but what happens next is what truly defines them, because both of these girls, in their own unique ways, plant the seeds of rebellion. So let's see how they decided to fight back. And their forms of resistance could not be more different. For Zitkala-Sa, it's immediate, it's physical, it's an outright act of defiance. Bama's resistance, on the other hand, becomes something more strategic, intellectual, and focused on the long game. So when Zitkala-Sa's friend just says they have to give in because the authorities are stronger, her response, it just gives you chills. She says, "No, I will not submit. I will struggle first." It's just this powerful, raw cry of defiance from a child who refuses to be broken. And she doesn't just talk, she acts. The second no one's looking, she slips away, creeps up the stairs into a dark, unfamiliar room, and crawls under a bed, hiding herself in the darkest corner. She is absolutely determined to protect this part of herself. But her rebellion it's brutally crushed. They find her, they drag her out kicking and scratching, and they tie her to a chair. And as she feels those cold scissors against her neck, she says her spirit just gives out. In that moment, she says she was no longer a person, but one of many little animals driven by a herder. It's a heartbreaking description of exactly what that institution was trying to do, dehumanize her. Bama's path goes differently. She gets home, all excited to tell her older brother, Annan, this funny story she saw. But when she tells him, his face just falls. And he explains that it wasn't funny at all. The elder was forced to act that way because he was a Dalit. And in that instant, Bama's amusement completely vanishes, and it's replaced with this white-hot rage. But Annan gives her more than just an explanation. He gives her a weapon. He tells her, look, because we are born into this community, we will never just be given honor or dignity. But, and this is the key, he says if you are always ahead in your lessons, people will come to you of their own accord. Basically, he's telling her that education is the way to command respect. And this, right here, is where their two stories, though they are worlds apart, come together on this one powerful universal theme, the fight for basic human dignity. So when you boil it all down, what do we see? Both Zitkala-Sa and Bama go through this brutal loss of innocence that forces them to stare injustice right in the face. For both of them, this one moment sparked a lifelong fight for their dignity. And while Zitkala-Sa's first instinct was to fight back physically, Bama was shown another way, using education as her tool to reclaim the very honor that society was trying to deny her. And that really leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? These stories are from very specific times and cultures, but that feeling, that experience, is universal. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. What was your first memory of unfairness? How did it feel? And more importantly, how did it shape the person you are today?